Let's talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've been thinking since Infinity War came out about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recently. When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started, it was very, very linked in to the movie side of the MCU. Every time there is a movie, during the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I have here on completely unopened Blu-ray. I've had this for years and I still haven't taken it out of the cellophane. It's quite bad, isn't it? But in that first season, every time there was an MCU movie, there was a tie-in episode from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The very first episode tied into the events of Iron Man 3, where we see the Extremis virus come up again. There was a tie-in to Thor Dark World. And of course, there was a massive, big tie-in to Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Soldier. That basically upended the whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. But then in season 2, things started to sort of ramp down. And other than a few sort of casual references, the last sort of major tie-in was really Age of Ultron, where the helicarrier that we see pop up that Nick has at the end of that comes from the agents in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., comes from Phil Coulson and a secret project he had going. So that was the last sort of major thing that sort of tied the two really strongly together. Now, the reason that was really the last sort of time we really saw them really heavily tie into each other is because basically of studio politics. If you don't know this story already, I'm going to give you the very truncated version right now. But basically, the whole of Marvel Studios used to be run by one guy, and then underneath him there was the TV and the film division. Now, the person running the film division, Kevin Feige, wasn't particularly happy with this, and when Disney had bought Marvel, basically went over the other guy's head to Disney and said, hey, I want complete autonomy from this guy. I want to be able to not think about the TV shows while I'm making the movies. And Disney said, yeah. So there was this big, massive split between the two. They all still take place in the same fictional universe. They all still take place in the same continuity. But then after that point, after sort of Age of Ultron point, we get the situation where the movies are just being made and the TV shows, because they are in the same continuity, kind of just have to kind of react to them. So you get the Sokovia Accords mentioned in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they have to, and it becomes a lot more just kind of casual references rather than big heavy tie-ins that we got in season 1. Which brings me round to the main point of this video, because I was thinking the events of spoilers, by the way, for Infinity War coming up, but the events of the ending of Infinity War could be really good for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And here's why. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has since been in this really weird limbo land where anything they do, they're going to have a massive out of to reset it back to where the movies are and how the movies are portraying the world. And I suspect that's why you had a whole half a season where they were in a computer simulation and another half a season where they had gone to the future, because it kind of takes them out of that world and allows them to play a bit more freely without having to worry about what's going on in the movies. But now, after the events of Infinity War, I think they've got a really good opportunity here, because what you could have, this is assuming that some things that have been rumoured about the next Avengers movie are true, and those assumptions are mainly that there's going to be a bit of a time gap in terms of when they're set from the last Avengers movie. So you've got Avengers Infinity War, which ends with half the population disappearing, and you've got Avengers 4, which apparently might start like 5 years later or something. Now what I'm saying is there are going to be no more movies set in that 5-year period. The events of Avengers 4 are going to reset something somehow, probably using time travel, and that gives Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a nice big out, because they've got a nice big 5-year window to play in where they don't have to worry about what's happening in the movies. All they need to do is make sure the world is like it is at the beginning of Avengers 4, and they're set. That's an amazing opportunity. If it gets renewed, they've got 5 years to play with where they don't have to worry about matching out with continuity with the movies, which I think is a massive, great opportunity for them. Now, obviously, to be set in the world of the MCU still, they're going to have some people be affected by Thanos' disappearing. I believe the season finale is on next week as I'm recording this in the US. I'm in the UK, so I'm about half a season before where they're up to. In where I'm up to watching, they have just come back from the future to the present. So that's where they're up to. And I believe there's been a tangential reference to some craziness going on in New York so far, which is probably the beginning act of Infinity War. Whether or not they'll go through with having half the cast disappear, or some of the cast disappear in Thanos' thing, I think they should, but I don't know. So hey, who knows, next week my whole theory may be upended, but I think this is going to be an opportunity for the movies and the TV show to effectively split off properly, and you can have all of the TV shows from now on could be set in that 5 years between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4, and then they don't have to worry about tying into the movies anymore, and the movies can carry on with however they change the timeline and effectively split into 2 different timelines. That's what I think might happen. It's certainly a good out for how they can keep them separate without pissing off fans and just ignoring continuity. It's kind of the Star Trek way of doing it, I suppose. But hey, I needed the video today, so that was floating around in my head. I thought I would share it with you. What do you think? Do you think that's a good plan? Do you think having all of the MCU TV series set in the sort of gap between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4 is a good idea? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that jazz for more geeky pop culture videos from me. See you next time. Bye.